So the reason why I'm doing this video here today is because when I was 14 years old, I was extremely underweight, and this made me feel extremely insecure about myself and about my body. I was an extremely skinny kid. I weighed 51 kilograms at 177 centimeters. Could literally see the bone sticking out of my arm. It just bothered me seeing myself. However, in just 2 years, I managed to change that completely, and I packed on 30 kilograms of pure muscle. Went from weighing 51 kilograms to weighing 82 kilograms in the matter of 2 years. This is my transformation that I did from 14 years old to 16 years old, and I was the same height in both of these pictures. Now, the reason why I'm really doing this video is because when I was 14 years old and I just started working out and I wanted to pack on as much muscle as I possibly could, I just didn't know where to start. I wish I would have had this information. Right now, I'm 26 and I'm a personal trainer and a nutritionist, coaching people of all ages. So it doesn't really matter if you are 14 or 20 or you're 30 or 60. Same information still applies. So in order for our body to change, to actually make a big transformation to our body, we need 3 things. If you nail these 3 things, you will hit your goal. And that I can guarantee. You will be able to put on a lot of muscle. These 3 things are very simple, yet very complicated. It's nutrition, training, and it's recovery. We want to simplify these things and we want to make them as easy as we can possibly make them. Simplicity is really the key to long-term success. So what are the basics? Well, they're compound movements. This is the movements that will work for you and will work for everyone else. And this is the movements that I do on a regular basis myself and that I apply to my clients. Over the years, I also realized that less is actually more. So in the beginning, I used to do let's say 6-7 sets of an exercise. 6 or 7 different exercises. These days I only have really 2 to 3 exercises per workout. And I know for a fact that this is way better because then your focus becomes so much greater on those 2 to 3 exercises, and therefore you will make so much more progress because your attention is at 1 point or 2 rather than scatter it to 6 or 7. I also used to do 6 or 7 sets per exercise. Over the years, I have found that intensity is really the key to long-term success in the gym. In order for you to grow, you need a stimulus that you're not used to. However, it's gonna be extremely hard for you to apply that stimulus if you're trying to do it 6 or 7 times. In order for you to actually make long-term progress, you need to apply 3 things. One of them is progressive overload. If you don't know what progressive overload is, it is just a way for you to become a little bit better every single day. And you can do this by either increasing your weight, your reps, or changing your tempo. Otherwise, we will plateau. Over the years of working out, I found that the best way for myself of utilizing progressive overload, periodization, and also taking tempo into consideration has been to utilize a timer. And this is something that I don't see most people do. So I never ever count my reps, ever. I just utilize 4 different timers. I have one at 30 seconds, 35, 40, and 45. Now what I do is that I do my workout, let's say I utilize a 10 kilo dumbbell for 30 seconds. Then the next time I'm coming in, I'm gonna do 35 seconds. And the following week after that, I will be doing 40 and then 45. Once I have completed the 45 seconds, I go back to square one and then I increase the weight. And this is a great way for you to implement periodization, progressive overload, and also taking tempo into consideration. Most of the time when you are exercising, your tempo will change. But in order for you to make progress long term, your tempo needs to stay the same at all times. This timer also keeps me accountable because you cannot stop your workout or your set before the timer hits. Because if you do, you know you failed. When I was around 17, I saw this guy. He had the most amazing physique I have ever seen. I don't know to this date if he obviously was natural or unnatural, but it didn't really matter because I saw him doing something that I was not doing. And that thing was that he had a notebook. He was tracking all of his movements every single time in that notebook. And as soon as I started implementing a notebook, writing my workout down, I started making so much progress. It was literally insane. If you're not tracking, you're guessworking, and that's not going to work long term. I wish I would have done that way sooner. Having a timer and having a notebook probably made the biggest difference over the years for my own workouts. I have seen incredible results, and keeping myself accountable, utilizing periodization, progressive overload is literally the best investment that you can do for your workout. Now, what are the ways to put on muscles? Mechanical tension and mechanical stress. These are just fancy words for saying breaking the muscle down, which refers to mechanical tension. Mechanical stress is that going for the pump feeling, like Arnold used to say, like getting a pump. So here's an example of what mechanical tension could actually look like versus mechanical stress. Over the past 10 years of working out on a consistent basis, at least 3 times a week, every single week, naturally, I have found that the best thing that works for myself and the best thing that works for the most of my clients is to apply mechanical tension 70% of the time and mechanical stress 30% of the time in your training. That is what I have found over the years of working out to be the absolute best. However, how do you actually do that? The best way that I have found is to do it exactly like this. So I go in with the first exercise I'm about to perform. Now for that exercise, I warm up in the same movement pattern. It's very stupid to do like go on a cardio machine before you gotta do squats. You want to utilize the same movement pattern at all times. So I warm up utilizing the same movement pattern. As soon as I hit my working set or my working weight at the 70 or 80% of my maximum capacity, I then put my timer and I keep that eccentric tempo slow on the way down for 4 seconds, 1 second on the concentric. That way we're applying mechanical tension, breaking the muscle down, and I do that for 2 sets. Now on the 3rd set, which is going to be my last set, what I do, however, I do my mechanical tension exactly like before, and then I drop set by 30% and I do a set to failure. This is when we're applying mechanical stress, and the key is to seek the point of pain. When you're seeking the point of pain, you're making the most amount of progress. Muscle pain, not tendon or joint or any other sort of pain, actually muscle pain. That is when you're making the most amount of progress. And I wish I started implementing that sooner, because I would have made so much more progress. Now, it doesn't honestly matter how much you work out or how good you work out if your diet is crap. And that is the reality. But this doesn't necessarily mean that you need to track every single macronutrients. And over the years, I found that it is very simple actually. So in the beginning, if you have never calculated anything, what I recommend you to do is to step on the scale, see how much you weigh and write that down. Now the following week, you're going to do the same. And you're gonna always aim, if you're trying to put on weight, to increase by 0.5 kilograms every single week. The only thing that you need to track, that I find to be essential to track, is your protein consumption. But you might ask yourself, how much protein should I then consume? Well, in my personal opinion, what I have found over the years is that I think that 2 times your body weight in grams seems to work the best for myself. And if you want to lose weight even faster, I would increase that protein consumption. However, when you're increasing protein consumption, you have to take into consideration that you will lose water weight as well. Protein has something called nitrogen. You will be dehydrated if you're consuming too much protein. So you need to track your protein every single day. If you have never tracked your calories and you're not putting on any weight, or you're not losing any weight, depending on what you want to do, I recommend you to track your calories for at least 2 to 3 weeks. So you get the baseline knowledge and you understand how many calories you need to consume on a regular basis. Every single week, you check the scale. You see how much you're putting on or losing, and you're always going to aim to put on 0.5 kilograms or at least 0.3 kilograms every single week if you're trying to put on weight. If you see for some reason I'm not putting on any weight, then increase your calories. Basically eat a little bit more, but always make sure you get the right amount of protein every single day. But you might ask yourself, how many times a week should I actually work out? You are growing and you're building muscle when you are recovering. You're not building muscle when you're working out. When you're working out, you're breaking the muscle down. Later on, when your body goes to rested state, you're growing. So your body only grows when you're really in a rest and digest state, parasympathetic. So this is important to take into consideration. How stressed you actually are will dictate how many times a week you should actually work out. Let's say, for instance, that you are very stressed. I would only work out 3 times a week and I would do a full body. However, if I had medium stress levels, I would work out 4 times a week with a push-pull legs followed by a full body. And if I have no stress whatsoever, which I didn't have when I was 14 years old and I did this transformation, I would do push-pull legs followed by rest, followed by push-pull legs again. So this is something that I don't see a lot of people speak about. You really want to adapt your training and change it depending on your current life and your cortisol levels. I used to have the mindset of I'm just going to work out 5-6 times a week no matter what. And this was very stupid. So you don't need a fancy program. You don't need a personal trainer. And that is me, personal training, telling you you don't need one. You don't need accountability from anyone whatsoever. Because the moment they go away, you lose all of that progress that you made. Don't get me wrong, it's great to get the knowledge from a personal trainer. Then once you have the knowledge, you don't need them anymore. You cannot rely on anything, any substance. You cannot have to rely on your coffee, your pre-workout in order for you to actually have your workout. I did this transformation that you saw without any supplements whatsoever. The only thing that you need is good training, good recovery, and good nutrition. One more thing, a good hormonal profile. That is just making sure that your hormones are correct. I literally did an entire video on how you can maximize your testosterone, and I do really recommend you checking it out if you want to maximize your testosterone naturally and you want to make the maximum amount of progress. Those are all the things that I wish I would have known from the beginning when I first started working out. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.